Welcome everybody to the very first episode of Wrestling on the Fly with your host Scott Spade, 21 years in the business, and it's time that I start my own wrestling show. A shoot interview series with the best wrestlers in the Chicagoland area. Here to tell their story, their life, and everything in between. And it's my pleasure for my very first episode, number 1, to have none other than the one and only, my opinion, the greatest Windy City League champion of all time. My very dear, close personal, longtime friend, fellow member of the Brotherhood, Tenacious Terry Allen.
I appreciate that intro, man.
Thank you so much for being my
my
guinea pig.
Way to the top, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's a huge honor for me for you to do this for me, especially being the very first episode. So thank you so much.
Hey, man, I enjoy being your guinea pig.
I appreciate that. First thing we're going to start off with, if you can think back years and years and years ago, which we make fun of each other all the time that we can't remember anything from day to day.
Right.
Talk about your family life, early childhood of Terry Allen, growing up, stuff going on in the household, family, parents. Where did it all start?
Earliest I remember is Glendale Heights.
Okay.
And then we moved to Villa Park. I think most of my memories are probably from Villa Park from there. I remember the Glendale Heights house, but grew up in Villa Park for a little bit and ended up back out in the Heights. And grew up there, not far from the football fields and baseball field where we were at every single day.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. We were always there. You came home, the lights came on, you went out the minute you woke up, and that's all we did. We played sports all day long, whether it was football, baseball. We had tennis courts we played roller hockey at. We had a really awesome childhood. Just we were kids out there just having fun and causing trouble, and nobody knew it until years later, although my mom likes to tell me, we knew what you guys were doing.
They always said they knew, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah. Whether we knew it or not, they probably knew.
Yep, they did. Well,
Yep.
She's told me some things, I'm just like, holy shit. I'm like, why didn't you stop me? We were like, man, you weren't that much of a handful. You guys
Yeah,
were
you're
just
not hurting anybody, you're just having
learning
fun.
lessons. So,
Beautiful. We definitely have something in common as far as the same area we kind of grew up in, because for a little while you did live in Lombard.
I went to school in Lombard, yeah.
Oh, so you actually didn't live in Lombard. You were living in Villa Park and you went to school? Okay.
Lombard, yep.
All right, we both went to the same high school.
We did.
Lombard East High School.
That's right.
And you are a class of?
96.
96, and I'm 99. And I remember hearing a story when I was a freshman. You would have been a senior. A couple teachers, gym teacher, asked me, because I like professional wrestling, everybody knew I did back then, and they said that this guy named Terry Archer he went to wrestle for WCW, and he's a big wrestling guy, you should go check him out. And I'm thinking, WCW? I'm like, wait a minute, like Ted Turner's WCW? I'm like, I think I would have known by now if somebody that famous would have come in from our high school, but
Sure.
I never knew what it was until 2005 when we first met, and I actually found out like a couple months after we met each other. It like hit me in my head. I'm like, you're that guy that I heard about 8 years ago in high school.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird how it's a full circle thing where I heard of you, and then you finally meet you, and then it clicks, and then it's like, wow, 20 years later now.
And our circles weren't that far off.
It's unbelievable how small world kind of a thing, right?
It is, absolutely.
All right. Give me your first memory that you could think of seeing wrestling on TV.
The very first memory I have.
Yeah, earliest memory.
Saturday night's main event. I was at my neighbor Jeremy's house, and him and his dad we're watching Saturday night's main event. I remember Coco Beware coming out with Frankie, and I just remember thinking, what is this? That's my first memory of pro wrestling. They were talking about, they were like, it's awesome, blah 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 blah, and then my first image is Coco coming out. Flapping his arms.
One of the greatest drop kicks ever.
Absolutely.
I think. What year do you think that was? 88, 87?
Man, I don't know. I can't even. 80s for sure, but the year I can't put on it.
What made you first want to become a wrestler?
Savage. Randy Savage.
Good choice.
I think a lot of people. I know you love Hogan, right? I think a lot of people our age. Hogan was that first driver, right? And then after that was like people loved Ultimate Warrior, loved him. Neither one of them did anything for me. I mean, Hogan did, but it was different. Savage was feral. He was real.
It's pretty good.
And I love that.
Yeah.
And the baby to heel and baby, like that tracked for me.
Yep.
I fell in love with Savage.
I don't know if there's anybody that's
as
ever
a
been
kid,
so
I wouldn't have called
intense.
it fell in love with him, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that intensity is second to none. I don't think anybody's could ever match his. And he was like that in and out of the ring. Didn't matter where he went.
Exactly.
He was wired for sure. All right. In the process of discovering wrestling for the first time and falling in love with it, how did you go about the journey of actually getting into the business? So what did you have to do? Calling, seeing the advertisements anywhere, commercials?
So I probably got back into wrestling. There was a period of time I didn't watch wrestling.
Okay.
And then I went to my buddy Jason's house. He was having WrestleMania 9, and I was like, bro. I'm like, dude, we're too old for wrestling. And then I watched WrestleMania 9. And we know it is maybe not one of the best WrestleManias, right?
Out of the first 10, yeah, that was probably the least.
That being said, I loved it.
I did too.
And that is what pulled me all the way back in.
Yep.
Watching Hogan come out and getting the okay from Brett and then beating Yoko,
awesome.
right?
Yep.
And I was literally hooked again. It was immediate. So that was
93.
That was 93. Okay. So that was probably around freshman year for me, maybe. That hooked me back in, and then from there, I had built a ring in my backyard.
Oh, you did?
Yep, and started to invite friends to be a part of, backyard. Like I was like, let's be pro wrestlers, and it was awful. It was god awful. It was atrocious, but we had fun.
What'd you make the ring out of?
The first one was just one side was a fence. Then we had dug some fence posts into the ground, just some regular, like rope. It might even have been nylon rope, but
yeah.
It was very rudimentary. And then we had, you'd drive by and you'd see all this carpeting, like people throwing out, grab that shit, and that's what we used as padding.
There you go.
And I mean, God, it was god awful. But it was, for our imaginations and stuff like that, it was great.
Yep. All right, now how do you transfer from that, I should say, from there to getting into a training school?
Okay. So from there, we're doing that in the spring and summers for a couple years, and I knew that that's what I want to do. So, you're buying I bought all the wrestling rags, all of them. And in there was a guide by Percy Pringle.
Oh.
And, it was just about, do you want to become a pro wrestler? And it wasn't that long of a booklet, right? But I sent in however much it was. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. And I got that thing, and in the back it had the list of all the promotions and all the places with schools.
Really? Okay.
One thing I wanted to make sure of is that wherever I went had a lightweight or cruiserweight division. I was against steroids or anything like that, right? And I was maybe 180 pounds. Okay. So I was like, I need some place where I could train and I don't have to worry about doing that.
Gotcha.
And I don't remember. I know I sent out some stuff on the East Coast, and I can't remember where. I just can't.
It wouldn't have to be the Monster Factory, would it? That's one of the biggest
it might
names
have been,
up there.
But
yeah.
I don't remember. Like right now, I don't remember if they had a cruiserweight division.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, I definitely searched out cruiserweight or lightweight divisions.
Gotcha.
Like I did my research on them. But it could have been. But then there was the Windy City one, and I'd sent stuff there too. And Mike Gratchner, the GM there, ended up calling a couple months later. So, and back then, we mailed out letters. We actually
handwritten letters. Yep.
Wrote letters and mailed them out. So it was like a month later. He reached out, and then he came out to watch me wrestle in high school.
Okay.
And after that, they called me in to the Windy City TV studios down in Slag Valley, and I had a meeting with Sam, and then went back there with my dad, and my dad was dead set against it. He was like, absolutely not. I was like, well, I'm going to do this one way or the next. So,
Right.
So then, not long after that, I'd say, I got my dad to. My dad definitely told me, you got to put on so much weight, and like I need to know you're serious about this for him to sign off on it. And it wasn't that much weight. I think I put on 10 pounds and in a certain period of time. But even then, he was like, you're just gonna, all you're gonna do is die. They're just gonna beat the hell out of you, and you're never gonna get on. You're never gonna be in an actual match. You'll never be on TV. All these things. He's like, you're wasting your time. And I was like, no, I'm gonna do this.
Now, did he have to sign? You have a permission slip because of the age, too?
Correct.
So, but he did do it without too much of a fight, I guess you could say.
I mean, it took a few months.
Yeah.
But he realized, all right. I mean, I'm a stubborn person like he was, right? And if I'm going to do something, like if my mind's already made up, it's going to happen. That's how he was. And he realized it, so he was like, I might as well be along for the ride.
There you go.
So.
It's good to have that support. Whether they like it or not, the support there still means something.
Yeah.
All right, stepping in that door for the first time in Windy City, what was your first impressions of what I like to call the godfather of Chicago wrestling, Sam DeCero himself?
Of Sam himself?
Yes.
Intimidating as hell. That was my first impression. I talked with Gretchen on the phone, right? And I walk in, and Sam just looks at me, and I could tell he's looking at me like, oh, fuck a kid. Like, I could just see it on his face.
Yep.
And I remember just looking at me like, holy shit. They're even bigger than I thought. Sam was a big man. And I was like, oh, you know what? It's okay. I'd seen Christopher Daniels in the ring, right? Mm-hmm. I'd seen Boz and Brandon Bishop there, and I knew I wasn't much smaller than them at the time, right? So I was like, it's still going to be okay, but you could also tell, like, he was just looking at me like, ugh.
He was more of a big guy kind of a guy. He liked all the monsters, right?
He loved big men. He loved big muscles and big men, and, very old school that way.
Oh, yeah, just like the guys we were talking about, the
Terminators?
The Terminators and the leopard striped guys that I just messaged you about. Yeah, who are these guys? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like his theme of when he first started in '88 was to have those big, huge, monster muscle guys. Like, that was his look. That was his theme. He wanted everybody to kind of have that look, which is, that's the way to go. It's in that era, of course, too. Yeah, absolutely. Training for the very first time. Your first day of training, or around the early days of training, how brutal was training back then?
So I thought, because I came in from wrestling in high school, right? I was a varsity wrestler. I was in great shape. There's nothing like being in ring shape.
Absolutely.
It's entirely different. The minute you hit the ropes for the first time, and the Windy City ropes were not ropes, they were elevator cable.
Oh, okay.
So they were really stiff. He had them taped up really hard, but I mean, you hit those things the first time, and you're just like, ugh.
Yep.
And your ribs got bruised really bad. Mm-hmm. Then you're getting slammed. But again, not again, but I mean, let me also say, the period was so different. Everybody looked at me like, oh my God, look at this fucking kid in here. Right? I was a kid, and I was trying to be in this man's sport. And they all took offense to that. And as a profession then, you had to break in. Mm-hmm. Not only were you, coming in, there were codes of conduct, right?
Oh yeah.
You had to gain permission in there. Mm-hmm. And these guys beat the living shit out of me. Every practice, Tuesday, Thursday, and if we didn't have shows, Saturday and Sunday. Mm-hmm. And if we had shows, it was in a battle royal. I was getting my ass beat anyway. It didn't matter. I mean, they beat the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. They beat the shit out of me. Ivan Manson used to say all the time, he's like, bro, we should have gone to jail for the shit we did to you. Because I was just a kid. But they beat the fucking snot out of me all the time. Part of it was, can you come back? Will you come back?
Yeah, prove yourself, prove your toughness, and then they'll accept you to whatever level that they think is.
And that is how, Tenacious is my moniker, right? But that's how I got it.
That's where it came from.
Bishop was like, you're just tenacious. You just won't stop. And it was just a conversation point. I just kept getting up.
That's how some of the best ideas come from, just in conversation or just an accident.
Yeah.
And then it sticks with you forever.
Yeah, they're just killing me, and I'm just keep getting up. He's like, you're just tenacious. You just want it. And I'm like, and that eventually, like Gratchner at some point put that on. He wrote tenacious on a card one night, and that's how that took off. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm sure you would agree with my thought on that too. Is I wish it not that level, but I wish training and breaking in the business was that way today.
I wish it was still that way today. I had a commentary with some people on Facebook earlier today because they're talking about some fucking scum out there right now. And I'm like, you don't give people free press.
Nope.
One, you don't give people free press. I don't give a fuck who they are, what they've done. You don't give them free. If they're a piece of shit, you don't give them free press.
Absolutely.
But if things were how they used to be, there ought to be the code of business, and nobody would be talking about this motherfucker anyway.
Absolutely.
This guy would have even been involved in the first place for anybody to be talking about him within the industry. So, I agree. I wish it was still that way.
Yep, it keeps the yarders out. It keeps the play wrestlers out. It keeps the fantasy of, I'm going to own my own company just to say I can. The pretenders.
Right. I'm a big believer in policing yourselves and professionalism. I mean, and it's not a golden rule across the board, right? There are definitely some people who've come in the industry who didn't come through it and have done amazing things.
Yep.
There really are. So it's not a golden rule across the board.
Right.
But if we had the rule in place, there'd be less shit.
And, of course, proper training is such a huge thing. All right, the name origin, we already just did where the Tenacious came from. Why did you choose to go with Terry Allen?
So my mom wanted me to keep my initials.
Okay.
Really badly. I actually wanted to be Terry Hayes, Michael P.S. Hayes.
Ah, okay.
It really wouldn't fit. Big picture, that is not. But I did love watching him, and I thought it'd be enough off the beat that some people would get it and some people wouldn't. Okay. Right? But Gratchner was like, well, if your mom wants to keep your initials, let's go with Terry Allen. And I was like, but he knew Terry Allen because he helped promote NWA shows back in the day and stuff like that. So I think for Gratch it was part of homage to him, and the other portion was I didn't really get a choice. It was just Terry Allen at that point.
So you actually didn't have to get clear approval from him to. It was his.
You had to get approval for even what you wore. I mean, back then I didn't get a choice on what I wore. Sam was like, I want you to get these trunks and this size X, Y.
You're given that, and you do the best that you can with it.
Until at a certain point, I was like, I think that I would look good in this, and he'd think about it and be like, okay or no. I didn't get a say so on what I wore at first. I didn't get a say so on my name. I mean, I got a say so. I told Gratch, my mom would like me to keep my initials at least, right? And he was like, well, let's go with this then. But it didn't matter. If I wasn't a huge fan of the Terry Allen thing. I just wasn't. But Gratch was like, nah, that's what you are.
Because you want just a little bit more, not pizzazz, but just a little more to the.
And for me, I knew Magnum TA, right? I didn't feel like I lived up to that stature at all, right? Even my physique, I was 180 pounds. That was a big, good-looking man. You know what I mean? That was a big man. I was 5'8", 180 pounds. It just, for me, I was just like, and he was like, that's what you are. You are Terry Allen now. And I'm like, he's like, there wasn't a choice.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do think promoters even now and give these guys too much license. Like, what do you want? If it's well thought out and fits, okay. But I think promoters should be like, no, this is what you're doing until we figure out something else later.
Especially the young guys that don't know or they don't have that mind yet.
No,
need to be led.
It's hard to.
Yeah.
It's hard. It takes years to figure it out.
Oh, absolutely.
It takes years to figure it out. So they need to pull that license a little bit. I think everybody's way too nice. You're all way too fucking nice.
All right, I'm going to give the first date for you. Probably the most important date in your entire career, and that is October 21st, 1995. TV tapings at the Windy City Studios.
Yep.
Your very first matches. You wrestled twice that night.
Those were my first singles matches. Yep.
Very first match you ever have is against Mike Anthony.
That was my first match ever. Yep.
And then you wrestled Brett Sanders.
Or the Zygo, if you guys know Puerto Rican wrestling.
How much do you remember about that day?
They beat the shit out of me.
Scared to death, even before it started?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Windy used to do 6 to 8 weeks of tapings a night. It was all tapings back then.
In one day?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was long nights. But being the rookie, I knew I was dying, right? And Mike Anthony, I know you're watching this, Mike. He came up to me. He's like, "Hey kid," he's like, "I'll beat you up a little bit." He's like, "I'm gonna go to the corner. I'm gonna take a bite of a sandwich. I'm gonna go back and beat down. He's like, "I'm gonna go back to the corner, take a bite of a sandwich." I'm just like, oh, like, no. I'm like, okay, Mike. But Gretchen was like, "No, you're not gonna do that. You're already crushing him. You're not gonna go eat a sandwich too."
So they were typical TV job matches, I guess you could say.
Yep.
And speaking of the word job, I want to ask every guest on this show because it's kind of a topic that's come up a little bit nowadays. Are you offended by the term jobber?
I really don't care.
Because it seems like a lot of people now, they take it as an insult, but that's the name of the position that you're in.
Right.
I mean, you're not obviously not a career jobber like people were back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s and stuff. But do you find that term or that saying offensive in any way?
I don't. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like most people using it don't understand anyway. So
it's the name of the job, right? And it is what it is.
We all got to start somewhere,
right? Absolutely.
And I think everybody should start doing the job consistently.
I agree.
Even the big bill guys, put them on masks, put them on hoods, let them learn the craft, hide them.
They get ring time, and they can learn.
Everybody needs to be doing the job.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs to be doing the job.
And it makes you learn humbleness.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And you don't know what you're doing, and you got somebody in there who's, "Hey kid, chill out. We got this. You're okay." It goes a long, long, long way. It doesn't bother me. Most things that people say don't bother me because if you don't know, why do I care?
Absolutely. All right, the next man I would like to talk about with you, you've wrestled quite a few times, early career, starting in early 96. Pretty much the whole entire year you had quite a long feud with him. And his name back then was Ivan Yurkov.
Ivan Urkov. It was Urkov.
Urkov?
Yep.
Not Yurkov, okay.
It was pronounced Urkov anyway. This way the crowd could chant Jerkoff. Yeah.
And we all know that he came to be the one and only Ivan Manson.
Correct.
Who we unfortunately lost this year.
Correct.
What do you remember about your early matches with an early Ivan?
We clicked well. Early Ivan was as green as I was, clearly.
He was in just ahead of you by a hair?
I don't remember if he was just ahead of me by a hair, if I was just ahead of him by a hair. I really don't. I think I was just ahead of one of his tag team partners by a hair. I think he was there when I started. Either way, it was really close at the same time. Both really green, but both of us understood our job was to get the other person over. We both understood that.
That's important to know early on, too.
So we worked well within that fashion. But, and we'd come back thinking we'd be like, all right, man, we did okay. And Sam would be like, that was fucking dog shit. That is the worst shit I've ever seen in my fucking life. I'm embarrassed to call you guys professional wrestlers. That's horrible. And we were like, oh, man, we're never going to wrestle again. Oh, man. And then, next time out, it'd be like, that was fucking horse shit. It wasn't the worst ever, but fuck.
Slightly getting better, inch by inch.
But, he kept slamming us with a hammer, but that also made us, like, in practice, we worked so hard to get the finer details down. We cared so much about the finer details because of the stuff he'd say to us. We're talking about distance, timing, looks, things like that everybody's worried about the spot today. They're worried about their high spot and their shine, and it's those little itty-bitty things that sell the moment, right?
For sure.
Just the way you look at a crowd and you get hit, just the way you throw your head back, just the timing on a turn. It's little things that make the big, big, big difference. And that's the stuff that Sam was so big on. And we didn't understand it then. We were like, that wasn't bad. We might have done okay. That was fucking horrible. I can't believe I let you guys out there. Like, crushing our souls for months and months, just crushing our souls.
And you're also fighting for his approval.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah, I want to keep working.
All right, November 23rd, 1996, you team with a guy that we both know very well, Brandon Bishop, against Black Hammer and Chi-Town Thug. some names I'm pulling out here. They're buried way deep in there.
Does it tell you where that's at?
Yeah, I could find that out.
I'm just asking.
I could absolutely find that out.
Chi-Town Thug. That's got to be Chi-Town T. That's got to be Chi-Town T.
Okay.
It has to be.
Now, Brandon Bishop is one of the nicest people I have ever met in the business.
That's fair.
One of the funnest people to be in the ring with, and it's funny too because he'll want to do all this stuff, and as soon as we get out there, he forgets everything.
Oh yeah.
That's not a knock on him, but that's just a funny little thing that
yeah.
of the experience that I've been wrestling with him. Did you do the same? I know it was a different time from when you came into when I came in, but
so tagging with him was a lot different, and we kept the tag matches simple. Me and Brandon clicked right away.
that was in Serb Hall in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that was Chi-Town T. I don't think it has to be Chi-Town T.
They are two different people, Thug and T.
No, I'm saying that Chi-Town Thug has to be Chi-Town T.
Okay.
It has to be. I guess it doesn't have to be, but that's the only thing that makes sense. I remember wrestling them at some point.
Okay.
But me and Brandon, we had a great time as a tag team. I learned a lot. About tag team wrestling with Brandon. So I mean, most of it I'm getting my ass kicked. Right, I'm the young blood.
Yeah, you're the heat taker. Yeah.
Right. But I learned so much about tag team wrestling just from Brandon, just those situations.
One of the most phenomenal bodies in the history of Chicago wrestling.
Oh yeah,
he's got the Lex Luger body,
and
it never changes.
And he used to wrestle the Lex Luger gear too. He used to have the Lex Luger gear.
Yeah, the red, white, and blue stripe. Yes,
Yep.
He did. Yep, he kept himself in top shape.
He did.
Always.
Almost always.
Always. When he came back from the military.
Yeah, for that period when he first came back, it was like, what happened, B? But then, like once he knew he was working again, he was like,
yes,
immediately.
Yep.
He was like, oh, there you are.
All right, 1997 comes along, April 26th. You win the Windy City lightweight title by beating who?
Chi-Town T.
Correct.
Chi-Town T.
Correct.
Or Chi-Town Thug. Can we go with that?
Right. That's what I got written down. If it's the same person, I apologize for mixing up the names if that's him. So if he went by both different things, or
he might have went by Chi-Town Thug back then. I mean, I don't remember.
But it is the same guy.
I'm positive.
Okay. I don't want to get anybody confused because I'm a stickler for details.
Yeah, I beat Chi-Town with the Bob Backlund's chicken wing.
Really?
Because
it's a great move.
Maybe 2 months before that, somewhere in there. So Bob Backlund would come to Windy City every night because him and Gratch were very close.
Okay.
And I'm sure they still are close, but they were very close. So he'd show up to the school sometimes and work with us a little bit.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
And he'd done some shows with us. He wrestled Mike Anthony at one of the Battle of the Belts too. Anyway, I digress. But he had told me he's like, kid, you know how to wrestle really well. He's like, but you're doing all this flippity floppy shit. He's like, it's going to shorten your career. You don't have to do all of that to get over. He's like, use a high spot every now and then. Like, he was just breaking stuff down to me. Man,
if you get a compliment from Bob Backlund saying that's unbelievable.
It was great. I loved it, right? But I was just like, all right, well, if I'm winning the chance, I would like to do a little homage to him. So I used the chicken wing as the only time I've used the chicken wing, I think, ever. But it was just like, I appreciate it. So I just wanted to say, hey, just my little way of saying thank you.
Okay. Little insight thing here for the fans that are watching. Championship belts mean something to us, and at the same time, it's like a prop, I guess you could say. So to the fans, it means usually everything, when their favorite guy wins a belt, or for the first time a fan gets to hold an actual real belt. But to us, it does mean an honor still that we were thought of, enough that the promoter would put enough behind you to think you could carry a title. It could make or break somebody.
For sure.
It usually makes somebody. Sometimes it does break somebody because that, getting the belt on their waist, it goes right to their head and they become this big ego monster.
Absolutely.
So when you put the very first belt around your waist for the first time, how much of like an honor, a feeling of that you got that oh my God, I won my first belt.
So considering how much I'd been murdered for the previous 2 years, it was a huge honor. At this point, the guy who just continually told me that match was dog shit, was now saying, all right, you're championship worthy, right? It was a huge honor. It was a huge honor for me. And I remember Gretchen always saying to me, like, when people win championships, they start to slack off.
Yes.
Like, that's just the thing that happens. It's just a thing. And for me, I was like, all right, well, now I need to double down.
Right. You got to work even harder.
Because I didn't want that same stigma.
Yeah, it's like they reached their goal, and once they reach their goal, it's like,
yeah,
I don't have to reach my goal anymore, so
it happens with so
I'm going to
many
just
guys.
drift here and...
So many guys.
Yeah, sure does. August 16th of 1997, I had to put this in here. Not that it's a super famous or important match, but it's just the name of the guy that you wrestled.
Okay.
The Ghetto Ghoul. What in God's name is the Ghetto Ghoul?
I don't even know how I want to say Chi-Town T started this Ghetto Ghoul gimmick, and I can't even tell you why. I mean, ultimately, it's just a black guy under a mask, right?
Okay.
And multiple people did that role.
Okay.
And Chi-Town T was a small man, so you'd have a really small guy or a bigger guy called the same thing.
So you'd have a 140-pounder and a 400-pounder, like a black iron kind of a thing. Okay.
Same mask, same black outfit, right? But definitely discrepancy in sizes. Like, that's not the same dude.
It's the 140-pound guy, but he's announced as 400.
Right.
Kind of the kind of thing that they do
ridiculous.
Out there. Yep. That was in Springfield, Illinois,
And
by the way.
that one was against actual Lee Sanders. Lee Sanders that night played Ghetto Ghoul.
Okay.
I can't explain to you why. At that point, I believe he was already doing the military Lee Sanders gimmick. I really do. I can't tell you why he did that night. I don't know, but yeah, that I do remember wrestling him as Ghetto Ghoul, and he the mask was driving me insane. Like, he's like, what? It wasn't a great match for sure. I'm not all props to Lee, but he had the worst time listening in that mask. So we were on the ground a lot for that match.
Speaking of masks, too, it's a question I'm going to ask later, but we're talking about it now, so I'll ask it now. Have you ever worn a mask wrestling?
Yeah. Boz and I used to do a mask gimmick for UAPW. We were... Shit, Steve, you want to call me right now and tell me what our tag team name was there? But yeah, we weren't the East-West connection, but it was something like that. So,
okay.
We were both under hoods, and we had a lot of fun with that.
And that the urban UAPW was urban
American Pro Wrestling.
Okay, and that was like an offshoot of Windy City. Okay,
and we had fun in that. I mean, putting on a hood it just opens you up in a different way. When you have a hood on, you just feel unencumbered.
Yeah, it's time to experiment and have fun.
I had so much fun. My name was Latino Ito Cuatro, and if I chop somebody 4 times, the ref would be like 1, 2, 3, and I just turn the car and be like Cuatro, and I had so much fun doing that. Putting on that hood just was very unencumbering.
That's interesting. Very interesting. A lot of people, they either love it because they can have that, air of mystery where they can hide their real selves, and like I said, their inner self can come out and make themselves, bigger than what they normally are. Or I can't breathe. It's restricting. It's hot.
It took a little bit of getting used to.
Right.
But I'm such a serious wrestler, and I always have been.
Don't I know?
And
that's probably where you taught me that from. Yeah, exactly.
That's fair. But it was just so different. I was just like, and I didn't realize what was coming out of me. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm hollering, I'm getting body slammed. I'm yelling, Dios mío. And I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I? This is hilarious. Like, I'm laughing at myself.
And you never even thought of it, and it just came out that way.
Right. And I'm just getting body slammed, screaming, and I'm laughing at myself under the head. I'm like, this is stupid. This is awesome.
But you had a great time, and you remember it 20 years later.
Yeah.
May 16th, 1998 is the Windy City biggest show of the year, Battle of the Belts number 10.
Okay.
And you are the light heavyweight champion, and you defeat Vic Capri on that night.
That is Vic's very first match ever.
Really?
That is his first match ever, and It was so hot in that building. It was so freaking hot in there. And I think it was a great match for 90% of the match. And we got to the end, and, you know, it's his first match. Everybody's gassed, right?
Yep.
But overall, you look at that match, and you'd be like, that's your first match? That was freaking amazing. He did a great job.
I'm not surprised with as good as Vic
right?
is. That does not surprise me.
Tell Vic all the time. He's freaking amazing from day one. From seeing him in the training center and then going through that match, I remember, I've told Mike this, but like I got back to the locker room, and Brandon Bishop was like, holy shit. I'm like, man, this guy's going to be amazing for a long time. And nobody was wrong. Like,
Nope.
Nobody was wrong.
He is. Throwing some quiz out here to you. Do you remember where that was at?
That match?
Yep.
That was in Cicero.
Correct. Morton College.
That was in Cicero.
Very good. I got to make sure I test everybody's memory as we go
I'm not going to
here.
forget Mike's first match.
September 23rd, 1998, you lose the light heavyweight title to Jason Rain.
Okay.
Memories of Jason Rain.
I have a lot of memories of Jason. Some good, not so good. We buried the hatchet. So we won't go over the not so good stuff.
At this point, at least in the timeline.
This point in the timeline, Jason was very much a natural like Mike was. Not as natural, but he's really good. He was really good.
Physically, psychologically, or both?
At this point, he's picking up, like, I was working with him all the time. We were in the school together, just working. He got it pretty quickly. And physically, he looked great. He looked like a great lightweight. He had a good body. He was, what was it? His name was State of the Art. State of the Art, Jason Rain. But he was a great wrestler, man. He was a great wrestler, and I knew it was going to be him or Vic. It was just for where those two were, how quickly they got there with their progress mentally, physically, understanding wrestling, and being able to put together matches. Like, at first you kept everything very simple, but it wasn't long before you didn't have to be super simple anymore.
Right. And
you could really get into theory, you could really get into concepts, and those two got it. Like, most people don't get it as quick. I didn't get it as quick as I did. It took me years to learn what they'd learned in months.
Really?
Yeah. They just got it, and they were great performers.
Yeah, it seems like at that time that was the next, not the next generation, but the next guys in line to take that lightweight division to the next step, I guess you could say.
And they did.
Side note on that,
this ladder match they had maybe a year later, freaking phenomenal. It set aside. There's ladder matches today that wouldn't stand up to that ladder match back then.
Really?
Yeah.
They progressed that much in that short amount of time.
Their theory, they were definitely doing some what the fuck bumps, right? But their theory, the whys, all the stuff, it all made sense. So you're not against any of it if you understand. And so their ladder match now would stand up to some of them today.
If all the pieces are in place, that's definitely gonna help make it more believable for sure. And a side note on that reign was 515 days. It's the third longest reign in the history of that title.
Of the lightweight title?
Yes. 515 days.
Okay. Okay.
You mean you don't remember how many days you had it? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Nobody remembers stuff like that. The next thing I like to talk about is a 3-person or 4-person team called Devastation.
Okay.
Little group you had together with Steve Boz and Jason Rain and Brandon Bishop.
Yep.
You guys had a little group together. Explain the formations.
First it was me. Well, Devastation started out with Steve Boz and Mike Anthony.
Okay.
And along the way, they had recruited Brandon Bishop, right? So they had the league championship, the middleweight championship. Oh, I'm sorry, the league championship, the heavyweight championship. Brandon was the middleweight champion. So then they had the middleweight championship, and so then they were recruiting me. And at some point, I turned and became heel and became part of Devastation.
Okay.
It wasn't long after that that Mike Anthony went with the outfit for whatever reason. Don't even remember anymore. So then it was me, Mike, and Brandon for a bit.
Yeah.
which was we were a fun team. Us three had so much fun together. There's plenty of road stories. Nobody's going to hear from that time. Not until I'm ready, because
Road stories going to be talked about later. It's up to you if you want to unveil some of that.
One or two I can. But we had so much fun together. But then Brandon and Sam had heat, so Brandon went on his own way.
Okay.
And then Jason was already training at the school, and he was training with Boz at the gym, and we were already a natural fit together, and we just brought Jason in.
Okay.
And he was a good fit too, and us three had a lot of fun together. Some which can be shared, some which cannot be shared.
I'll see if I can pry it out of you later. September 23rd, 1998, that team devastation with you, Steve Boz, and Brandon Bishop win the six-man tag team titles. And you beat, in my opinion, which we are members of now, the greatest heel faction in the history of Chicago wrestling, the Brotherhood.
Yeah,
Do you remember which Brotherhood members they would have been?
I don't even remember that match. I mean, I remember the win, but I believe that night it was Rip. I want to say it was Hawkeye. I think it was Rip, Hawkeye, and Psycho that night.
Okay.
I think that's who the Brotherhood was that night. Rip, Hawkeye, and Psycho.
And Psycho didn't actually get in the ring that much.
He didn't get in
Right.
a whole lot, but every now and again he did. So that night, Windy City used to be it was a decent sized building, and there was offices up above where the ring and everything was, and so there was this huge gang walkway, and I remember I definitely did a dive off of there, like towards the end of the match, and Sam lost his shit. It was worth it. I mean, not necessarily. It wasn't entirely worth it, because I definitely got my ass chewed pretty good.
But you had the moment of being in the moment of that dive.
All of a sudden it disappeared, and I peered up on the top of the thing and did the dive. But they were all big men, and I was, again, 180,
those are some big
pounds.
dudes. Yeah.
So, it all made sense. It all worked, and there was no fear of me getting injured, because it was just all concrete, too. There was no pens, and he was definitely like, my liability, and he's like, what if you hit a fan? And I'm like, you literally taught us to be a professional. Why is this your argument? You know we know what we're doing.
A huge moment in your career comes a month later, on October 19th, 1998. This is a great story I've been wanting to hear from you for a long time. You have a dark match in WWF Raw.
Okay.
With Taka Michinoku. And if anybody doesn't remember who that is, he was a member of a three-man team called Kai and Tai back then.
I didn't remember that date at all.
Yeah.
What date was that?
That was October 19th, 1998.
Okay.
I know it's a long story, and it includes an injury in there too. So how did you get the connection, first of all, to have a dark match?
Steve Boz.
Okay.
Boz looked out for me virtually from day one.
I think he still does to this day. He's always been a big contact of dark match, WWF, AEW, NWA. He's the contact, it seems like, in Chicago for a lot of people for a long, long time.
Steve is a great guy. There'll be people who talk their shit about Steve, right? For no good reason. Usually out of jealousy, usually out of stupidity, usually out of weak-mindedness. Steve is an amazing dude.
Another guy like Brandon Bishop that's had the same body for 30 years. That's phenomenal.
Dick. God, I love Steve. But he, I guess Cornette called him up and said, hey, bring a couple of your guys with you, and Bob's like, well, I have this guy. Can we bring him along? I said, yeah, sure. And that was a good night. That was scary as hell. That I was, for the first time in a long time, scared shitless before a match.
Being in the locker room with all those people and more people you've wrestled in front of, probably up until that point.
Oh yeah, way more. Mm-hmm. You're just looking up and you're seeing all these heads, and again, I'm nervous as hell, and I'm pacing back and forth in Gorilla, and Big Boss Man stops.
Oh, I love that guy.
And he goes, "Hey, kid, nervous?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I just kind of looked up and looked back at him. He's like, "I promise you, the minute you step through those ropes, it's going to be like every other time you've done it."
Nice.
And I was like, "Thank you." Like, you're full of shit. But he wasn't wrong. The minute I stepped in there, I was like, "Yeah, I'm home."
Mm-hmm.
I was good the minute I stepped in the ring.
It's a great feeling, isn't it?
It was. It was.
Now, did you have injured ribs?
In the match with Taka?
Yeah. Where you almost didn't make it. I remember you told me one time.
So no, that was another time. That wasn't against Taka.
Okay, so you're fully healthy on that.
I was fully healthy for
Okay.
Taka. I tore my shoulder in another one.
The shoulder, okay.
And yeah, another opportunity, I tore my shoulder. But this one, the match went great. Even though, at one point the ref was like, "Take it home," and Taka has me in some sort of clutch, and he's like, "No spot." What do I do? What do I do? He's telling me no spot. The ref's saying, "Take it home." Fuck me. Fuck me.
What was the response in the back when you guys got back there?
Oh, everybody's like, "You did an awesome job. That's a great match," stuff like that. Owen Hart came, like, as I'm coming out, he's like, "Kid, you did great." And I was just like, holy crap. Okay, maybe I have something here.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit later on, Tony Drew was like, "Hey, you did awesome tonight. We want you. You need to gain like 20 pounds like yesterday." I was like, done. I know how to do that. So,
all right, we moved to a new company called Packerland Pro Wrestling. Does that name ring a bell?
yeah, it does.
Okay, that was started in 1990, and apparently it's still running by Chris Bassett was the promoter. That's in my research. That's what I found, but again, who knows how long that's information's been updated.
I don't know if it had just started then or not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he was running it for a bit before that. He wrestled as a Cobra in AWA. I don't know if it was how long it was running before that or not.
Okay. And you, along with Steve Boz, in a tag team match, 2 out of 3 falls against a team called the Dark Riders. Any recollection of that one?
I could only imagine that the Dark Riders were this team of. So God, why can't I? Tony the Annihilator was one of them. He did strongman competitions. You'd see him on ESPN doing strongman competitions.
Okay.
Humongous dude. I don't remember his tag team partner's name. Tony was a sweet dude though. Like, so afraid to hurt you. I mean, I'm talking a mountain of a man. Think Mark Henry type big. Huge man. But he was so afraid to hurt you. And he would drink Jack before the matches because to calm his nerves, like he'd be shaking.
I've heard of people that do that.
And I'm looking at him like, holy shit, this guy's he's drinking Jack and he's going to kill us. And I remember at one point he clubbed me over the back and I was like, hit me again. And he did it again, like, fucking hit me. And then he hit me and I was like, oh my God, not that hard.
I shouldn't have said that.
I don't even know how I walked after he hit me that third time.
July 1st, 2000. Should be a very, very important date in your career. Again, not expecting you to remember it, but that is the day you win your very first Windy City League title by beating
Jason
Rain. That is correct.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of history that went into that. Personal history and work history. And we were able to put aside our shit that day and go out and do what Sam wanted us to do, which spoke volumes to both of us, because when I'm mad, I'm not a great human being. No lies here. And Jason had his heat with me too. So, but we went out. And that's how it should be. You should be able to dislike people and go out and be professional and do what you're supposed to do. If it's a little bit stiff, it's a little bit snug. That's how we're trained anyway. No biggie. But yeah, it that match was. I think that match is a testament to both of us at that point, because we both could have made that go really, really left.
And you guys worked together, and the outcome was great.
Everything was clean. Everything was the way it should have been. I know Sam had Rip and Stone on watch, like, hey, if these two get stupid,
really
cut this off.
Interesting.
But we didn't. I mean, we knew we had to be professional. Why be known as the guys who can't do the job just because you have emotions? Absolutely not. That's not who you want to be. So,
cool. And just to explain, the league title was created after the heavyweight title.
Correct.
To take its place of being the top title in Windy City.
Correct.
So you had the lightweight, the middleweight, and the heavyweight, and then on top of that became the league title.
Right.
As the premier title in the promotion.
Right. That was like and Sam didn't want it to be called a world championship, so that was like their world championship.
And that included all the weight classes combined. Anybody could go for that title.
Any weight class could go after the league championship.
Okay. And that's the one that we need to get you. So whoever has that belt, message me, let me know, because the rightful owner is sitting across the table here from me. The man that deserves the belt is sitting across the table from me.
Who does have that belt?
We want to know. Anybody let us know, please. July 28th, 2000, you guys win the 6-man tag team belts. Again, this time with the Brotherhood, with Ripper and Ivan. Remember who you beat?
What's the date?
July 28th, 2000. I won't make it too hard on you. You beat a team called Station House.
Oh, okay. So we I think they might have had, that was a short reign for them.
Yes.
Very short.
It was like a day.
Those guys were Sam type guys. They're from Ohio.
Okay.
They looked like $1 million, and they had, so they came out as firefighters, they'd rip off their clothes in like Chippendale fashion, right? And they looked like $1 million. They looked like $1 million, and they had this guy who was a captain that went out with them. I don't remember their names. One was called Pumper.
Pumper?
Yeah. Like Pumper. Like little
Captain Pumper? That's
one of the wrestlers was called Pumper.
No, just
and they had this beautiful valet. She was absolutely like 5'10", blonde. She was beautiful. I mean, they were a great package altogether, but the guys weren't that great. We worked with them so hard.
The look was better than the work.
The look was way better than the work, and we tried so hard with them so many times. Because that's what Sam was like. This is what I'd like to push from here. Like, this is what I see. So we were like, we will do that. We will make them that for you. And it were looks on everything, guys. It was hard.
That H word comes to mind. Horrible.
It was
right.
They were horrible.
How many times have we said that in locker rooms over the years?
Oh my God.
Watching matches.
How many times we say it on the show?
I'm going to step back just a hair from there because we need to talk about how you became a member of the Brotherhood. And on November 28th, 1998, this is, of course, 2 years before that, you and Boz and Jason Rain win the 6-man tag team belts from the Brotherhood. But then the next title lineage, title reign in order, was that team lost to Ripper, Stone, and you.
Correct.
So that's a little confusing if somebody sees it on a title history page. So how did you go from the championship team to the next championship team?
What are the dates on that?
That one is from November 28th, 1998.
So that's when we won them back.
You, Boz, and Rain win the 6-man belts from the Brotherhood.
In 98.
And then in January 29th of 2000, you guys had that long.
Yeah.
So somehow you switched.
So there was a period in there where I had torn my shoulder. And I was gone for a while. I actually did a couple matches, because we had... It was weird. Devastation was popular. And we had a couple, bought shows that were specifically because of Devastation.
Oh.
So I did a couple matches where I was just in a sling, and I walked in, I'd stomp somebody, and I couldn't do anything.
Oh, so you actually were in the match itself, technically.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't have somebody else replace you yet.
But, Jason and I had a huge falling out. So, along the way, somebody proposed that I should become part of the Brotherhood. And I can't tell if it was Rip, I can't tell if it was Psycho, but it didn't make sense. I mean, either way, I couldn't stay with Devastation. We literally had bad personal heat. So it just didn't make sense. We were able to work together in the ring together, right? But we didn't want to be stuck together as a team. We had bad personal heat. Again, can't tell you who proposed it, but then we all talked it out, and Rip was like, yeah, I want him as part of the Brotherhood. Stone said the same thing. Sykes said the same thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. So that is how that started.
Very cool. That should be out. Again, I took it the same way and I know you had something to do with that too, because you were the original referral for me to Ripper.
Correct.
About starting a team with him that I found out later too. And then the Brotherhood thing, like I said, I hold it in such high regards as being like the ultimate heel group in the history of Chicago wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, way far more than anybody else. The look of it, I call the murder walk.
Yeah.
As soon as you come out that curtain, you got all the chains on. Everybody but you are bald in the group. And it's like the look of just waiting to murder and just terrorize everybody that's out there sitting in the ring. And the fans even, it's an awesome, awesome feeling. It really is. The aura, that word, I know we've talked about that.
Yep.
The aura of the Brotherhood is something special.
Absolutely. I mean, and then towards the late 90s when Stone Cold took over, right? That aura, that heel aura, like they started to cheer us. And it's like, no matter what we're doing. And then you're working even harder to be a heel now.
Right.
Right? Because now they're in saying like, I can't have them cheering you guys. We're like, okay, well we'll do it. We'll do it different. We'll do it harder. That definitely, Stone Cold absolutely changed
for sure.
Heels. He changed what was cool, what was acceptable. But I agree with you. They are the top heel group in my mind as well.
For sure.
I used to jump far, and I came down and laid an elbow into him as I'm coming down, and we hit the freaking guardrails, and he went out.
You got knocked out?
Yeah.
Remember that number, 820.
820.
820.
All right.
It's your new favorite number.
820 is my new favorite number.
He was the Battle Royal champion. There's 120 guys, 3 rings, 120 people.
Yep.
Largest Battle Royal ever in the history of wrestling.
Yep. Eccentric personality who, I'm not sure if he showered. Or if he showered, he didn't wash his gear. It could have been a combination of both. Sweet guy, but smelly.
He was a nice guy. Eccentric is a good word for sure. He was different.
He was definitely different.